Hey Jess, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm so happy that you were able to take the time today and like kind of hang out with me while we do these series.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you invited me out.
Yeah, of course, of course. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. If you want to kind of introduce yourself a little bit and just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, that would be great.
Yeah, definitely. My name is Jessi. I'm married with three biological children and one bonus child. I am currently a resident in West Michigan, previously lived out in Allendale and moved away a few months ago.
Oh, I
So,
didn't know you moved away. Oh, okay.
yeah, yep,
Oh,
yep, yep.
wow. Okay.
We moved out of Allendale and getting settled into the new house, nice and comfortable and safe. So, um, but we just kind of doing our thing. So,
Yeah, yeah. In
yeah,
Allendale, for people that don't know, I mean, I became familiar with Allendale, I guess probably about almost 2 years ago. I had never even heard about Allendale before until a story came up and I kind of looked into it. And I was like, wow, okay, because it's so close to home. And then the stuff that I was hearing that was going on there, it was really interesting.
yeah, yeah. Allendale definitely put itself on the map with the GVSU students starting the protests out there and more awareness coming to the Confederate statue out there and a lot of the community and the racism that was happening, overtly um, and you
In
know,
secret.
microaggression. So
Yeah, yeah. So, do you feel like that's because I know that you consider yourself an advocate. Um, do you feel like that's what started your advocacy and your activism living there and seeing what went on, or was it already kind
it
of
was already there. I think that amplified it simply because it was so close to my home, but it had started a few years, well, yeah, a few years before that when I got pregnant with my daughter.
okay?
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So let's talk about that. So, share a moment that changed you in some kind of way because I know having your daughter really impacted, and you can explain
Yeah.
to us why having her because you already have older children, why having her change your life in a different way.
Yeah, definitely. When I got pregnant with Sky, it was a completely unexpected pregnancy. We weren't supposed to be able to have any more children.
Oh,
So she was very much a surprise baby, very much a fighter. My pregnancy was extremely difficult.
mhm, mhm.
But I guess the moment that it really hit me, I was about 6, 7 months pregnant, and just laying in bed watching TV, The Hate U Give came on, and it kind of, as I was um, watching through it, it struck me like, damn, I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to. There's things I'm gonna have to teach my daughter that I never had to teach my older children because all of my older children are very white,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
and she's not. And I knew that. You could tell on ultrasounds that she was very dominantly in her roots, in her blackness. And
yeah,
it was just a moment of, I'm going to have to start teaching her things that I would never have to teach my other children and have conversations with her. I would have never had to have conversations with them regarding. And for me, it's a bit of, it's kind of shameful because I should have known beforehand. I should have recognized it, with my
yeah,
choice in partners and people in my life, my circle, my friends.
yeah,
And I didn't. But I guess those are the moments that we grow,
yeah.
where
And
we
you
look inward and learn.
Yes,
So,
and you learn from that. I mean,
yeah,
I think we all have something that we can look at and say, shoulda, woulda, coulda. I wish I would have known better. But I think that it goes back to what I always say is that once something directly impacts you, is when we often look into it a little more. I mean, I think most of us are kind of like that.
yeah, yeah, most definitely. And it's unfortunate that we are like that, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
do think, but I also know that I've had the opportunity to educate other white people
yeah,
um, on what's going on in our communities and our systems, and really teach them, even though it doesn't directly impact them. At least now I know what it's kind of what it's
Right.
like, just by being a parent, not
Right.
completely, but at least I can give an insight to people who otherwise wouldn't even recognize it. So I
Right.
guess that was probably the biggest moment for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I always try to for me to empathize with people, right? I always try to think about different ways how I can do that, right? Because it's really easy for me or anybody else to say, "Oh, you were wrong for doing this," or "You're terrible." I mean, it's easy for us to do that, right? And attack people or judge people. So I always try to look at it like, if a person gets sick, like if you get sick, if your child gets sick, your spouse gets sick, with a rare disorder or cancer or anything that you previously didn't have, we naturally will research it. We'll naturally look into ways to heal from it. We'll naturally look into ways on how like you possibly got it. So I try to equate that to people changing their lives in regards to understanding more about different cultures or understanding more about injustices in this world. To me, it's almost the same thing. Um, Based on the mindset that once it impacts me directly, I'm going to look into how this happened, how I can change it, how I can be better from it. And I think it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So, so don't, I always tell
Yeah.
people don't beat yourself up for not necessarily digging into something that, I mean, you really had, for some people, no reason to think about. Like some people literally have no reason, even though to me, I'm a person that always like am looking into things just because I'm naturally inquisitive. But so I try to equate it that way for me to empathize and try to not hold that person like under the torch. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Right. And I think that moment triggered that as well for me, where
Yeah.
now I start looking into things, laws,
Yeah.
cultural differences, community differences, based on our income statuses and
Hmm.
gender and sexuality, and all of that. So it kind of triggered that want to be able to just open up a little more to what's happening around me.
Yeah.
um and it's important. I don't beat myself up about it, because I know that that's the only way it's going to happen. That's the only way we're going to make changes, to have those conversations and to be willing to speak to people about it.
Yeah.
I think where I struggle is when they don't want to listen.
I
When they,
know that's
you
hard.
know, when they don't, they just are so dead set in, no, this is, and it's like, you're not even willing to look inward. And if you're not willing to look inward, you're not willing to grow and to
Yeah.
change and make a difference. So I
Yeah.
guess that's where I struggle, where I'm always like, I can't do it with fragile people, because I lose patience very quickly.
Yeah, and at that point for me, like that's where I leave them where they are. Like I'm good. Like if I try to, connect with you in a way of teaching and learning and you're not open to it, hey, that's your business. But I have to like kind of leave you where you are because I just don't have time for it. You know what I'm saying? If you
Right.
don't
And
want
that emotional energy, for me anyway, for BIPOC, y'all shouldn't have to put that in anyway. So if
yeah.
you're doing it, people should be willing to at least try, you know.
So next
That's
question, because people because people,
but
it's so funny. Some people could, I mean, they just do not care. So yes, I hear you, and it's really interesting the things that people just really don't care about.
yeah.
But I wanted to ask you this as well. Who was one person who impacted you in a major way?
I would have to say my best friend,
Mm,
and previous coworker, boss, coworker turned boss, and coworker turned best friend, all at the same time.
oh wow.
She is a very strong, independent woman, Black
Mhm,
woman, who
mhm.
has made strides in the corporate
Oh,
industry.
yeah.
And she has really become the person I look up to and push to do better.
Mhm.
She's amazing. She is very strong in her ways, very educated, takes the opportunity to do everything she can to make sure that she's doing better and being better every single day. Um, and she also teaches.
Oh,
She brings her team up. She always makes sure that the people in her circle, personally and professionally, are growing in every single way. And she never leaves people behind. You
Oh,
know, if
that's
they don't
amazing.
understand, she will take the time to explain. And she also makes sure that she, works with people's strengths and then
Yeah,
helps build their weaknesses. So
yeah. She sounds like a
she's
great person.
she's amazing. She's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
I could not have asked for a better person to come in my life
Aw, aw.
15 years ago now.
Oh,
So
wow. Oh, wow.
yeah, it's been years. I'm not quite sure if it's been 15, maybe it's been 12, somewhere around there, but
A
it's been
long
years.
time.
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's a
So
blessing. That's a blessing to have those kind of people that are
yeah,
planted in our lives,
yeah.
that you don't expect, right?
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. And it
yeah.
started with a simple conversation, yelling over a cubicle to each other. And it just kind of went from there, and she became my best friend. And
Oh,
so,
that's awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome. I
Yep.
love it. I love it. I love, love, love that. Um, mm. So what's one thing you would tell your younger self?
One? Oh, there's
I know,
so many.
I know, I know. I listen, I know. Oh goodness. I would say, girl,
Um,
sit down, let's talk. Ooh,
yeah. I think the biggest thing would be it's just okay to be who you are.
yeah.
It is okay to embrace your inner self and show it to the world. That's probably the biggest thing. I am bisexual and did not come out until after my divorce when I was 33.
Oh
Um, and
wow.
didn't actually embrace it. I was very afraid of it, but I grew up in Cadillac, Michigan. Um,
You
a
know,
very,
I heard that Cadillac was how do I want to say it? Not as progressive at times. And I never realized I've gone through there before and like visited there once. I like stayed and went to like they had like water stuff there because I'm a
yeah,
beautiful person. But yeah, I didn't realize because I've heard different things from different people about it. So
it's very not progressive
yeah,
at all in any way. With gender identity and sexuality and race and religion, and it's not at all progressive. So
mm,
it's very, very conservative. I also grew up in a conservative household, abusive conservative household.
I'm sorry.
So it is what it is.
Yeah.
It made me who I am today, and a reason why I
I know I hate that
push
we
so
have to go
hard.
through these things to be who we are though. It just really I know.
I know.
I know. I've been in some abusive situations and
Yeah,
um it's like I feel the same way that it has, made me stronger. But I'm
yeah.
like, I don't want to be stronger that way. But like you said, it is what it already happened.
Yeah,
So
it is what it is. It's, one
yeah,
of my favorite sayings. And, it trickled out of my home into some relationships. And until my husband, the majority of my relationships were abusive, including my relationship between my husband. So my husband and I were poly for years, for
oh,
about
oh,
7 years.
oh, oh, wait a minute. Hold on, because I've been looking for people, and this is awesome. I've been
I
looking for
dated my
people.
husband and his wife for almost 5 years.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
so this is the thing. I've been wanting to do a show about that because I find it interesting. I've studied a lot of stuff and talked to different people, and so we'll reconnect
yeah,
possibly
yeah.
if you're open to it. Having that
Most
conversation.
definitely.
I
Yeah,
would
most
love to talk to
definitely.
you a little bit more about that, but carry
Yeah.
on.
Um, but I can't remember where I was going with that.
You were saying that it was abusive, and your ex
Yeah,
husband was yeah.
yeah, and partners outside of those two, had some abusive traits in there, and I've had to do some things to get away from those situations, but they have made me very much stronger, and have forced me to really look inside myself on what I want out of a relationship, and not just romantic relationships,
Right.
with my friendships and my relationships with family and so forth, and unfortunately. I've lost a lot of family, but at the same time, fortunately,
Yes.
I've lost a lot of family. So my circle is small and very tight with people who support myself and my husband and my children, specifically my daughter.
Yeah.
She needs a circle that's going to protect her because the outside world, unfortunately,
Yeah.
isn't going to be kind to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, wow. So I really, Yeah, I love that. I'm always been very intrigued and curious about real people, right? That go through different things because we
Yeah.
watch stuff on TV, you read books, you see movies. But talking to people that real life things is important. So my last question for you is, if you had some words of encouragement to leave with us, what would it be? Or what would they be? I should say, what would they be? They were.
I think the biggest thing would be just to make sure that you understand it's okay to stand up for yourself and for what you believe in and your
Mhm,
convictions, no
mhm.
matter what.
Yeah, yeah,
And if they are, you know, if they are what you believe, then keep pushing for them. But also make sure that you're willing to listen to others and understand different point of views. And just keep being who you are.
yeah, yeah.
Life will continue to go.
Yeah,
So
and I like how you emphasize, and listening to others. That's the part of this that is so interesting to me that people don't understand that part. That if
yeah,
they want to be heard, they also have to listen. Like it's like a two-way street here.
yeah.
And so that's always really like intriguing to me that people just always want to be the one giving the information and never receiving and listening and accepting and embracing other people's positions as well.
Right. I mean, if you don't, how are you going to grow? That's
Yeah.
that's where I learned a lot about myself and like microaggression. I try to make sure that I check myself every day on my
Yeah.
privilege,
Yeah.
whether it's my financial privilege or my race privilege or my gender, you know,
Yeah.
lack of privilege.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
I try to make sure that I check myself, and in doing that, I have to hear what other people have to say about my actions and the things I'm doing. And if I'm not willing to hear it, then I'm never going to be able to make the change I want to make within myself or within my community or the people that surround me. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Well,
yeah,
thank you so much, Jessi. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to be a part of this short series. This has been so fun, getting to know people in different ways, and just kind of hearing from them and just kind of gleaning and also being able to connect. So I appreciate you.
well, I appreciate you for everything that you're doing too, and inviting me out and giving me some time to talk through this and really get to talk to you about it. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate it and everything that you do within our
Oh,
community. It's amazing.
thank
So
you. I appreciate that. I do. And we have
definitely.
to meet. We have to meet one day. Like I
We
really want.
really do.
Yeah, yeah. This summer, I last summer I got to meet some people that I connected with online. So hopefully, you and I get to meet up and just kind of like chill out and vibe and talk. So I would
Definitely.
definitely
We need
support
to
that.
figure that out sometime.
Oh, we will. Trust me. Listen, it ain't nothing but a word. All you gotta do is say yes, and I'm on it. Trust me. That's how I go. So okay then. Well, you enjoy your day today, and I wish you well.
Thanks. You too, Erin. You have stay safe out there.
Thanks.
Bye
Bye.
bye.